آزادی از موهایم آغاز می شود، آزادی از موهایم آغاز می شود. They said it's for heaven.
Hello, good evening. I just had to come and do a little bit of a rant after reading that the British government this year are going to give mosques and other Islamic indoctrination camps, i.e., schools and Islamic centres, 40 million of your pounds. 40 million. 40 million. Imagine what you could do with that. 40 million. So there are about 1,000 mosques, apparently. Somebody said 2,000. I think it worked out about 20 grand a mosque. But obviously there are schools. We hate British people schools. And there are also Islamic centres. Now, I did a little bit of digging. The facts are always sparse on this, on these sorts of things. But what we know is that there is a nasty, I can feel it, I can taste it, I'm sure you can too, of this amping up of the ramping up of the Darvo of Muslims as victims. Now, just remember, Muslims as victims is why the Islamic regime could take over in Iran. And at the same time, as we are seeing hate, like genuine attacks, not someone looked at me funny, someone said they don't like hijabs. I mean, genuine attacks against Jews, with people standing outside of restaurants on the fact that the people are Jewish. What's his face? Matt. I can't remember his name. The guy that's not fat anymore, from Little Britain. He was asked, what do you think of Israel? What about Palestine? And we're seeing this more and more. And Jews have had protection outside of their synagogues and so on for a long time, but also they've also been killed in the synagogue. Nothing has happened, as far as I can see, to Muslims except things that are really suspicious. There was a case the other day that was shared on social media of a pig's head. Someone putting a pig's head. Like, look, we don't feel that strongly about whether or not you like bacon. Like people that aren't Muslim, we don't give a shit whether you like bacon and how frightened you are of pigs. And we do care about how you feel about dogs, but we don't care about the pigs. It would be a lot for us. Anyway, the person that happened to put this pig's head on somebody's railings, which seems to be something that certain households like, they had slip-on shoes with jogging bottoms. Now, I'm just going to tell you, that isn't a common thing for people like me to wear. Right, it's if it was Burberry, if it's a really expensive pair of trainers, and maybe a little bit of Burberry something somewhere, you could pin it on the far right for sure. But when they've got cheap slip-on shoes with jogging bottoms with the tight bottoms at the bottom, then I'm sorry, but I'm just not going to buy it. Then there was not long after those people got killed in the synagogue, there was a case of somebody throwing petrol or apparently they were trying to set a mosque on fire when actually some idiot actually set their own car on fire. So there's something going on where all this money is being put into these sorts of things. So you have, I think must be about 40,000 churches, something like that. Churches are considered other faiths. So Christianity, you've got 28 million to synagogues, and Jewish causes. You got 40 million to Muslim. And then for the rest of all the other religions, you've just got 5 million. And I just think it's disgusting. So what is that money for? Well, apparently it's so that mosques can have 29 million is for protective security, CCTV, fire alarms, fencing, etc. Now, if you see some of the ginger Muslims, the old ginglims, or whatever we would like to call them, the converts, the guys that, they still eat a fried breakfast, but they have it without bacon. Those guys, what they have is this boastful thing about how much money mosques get, how generous everybody is to the mosque, and apparently there's like a tithe in a mosque, and I think it's a little bit more than the Catholic or the Christian tithe. Like the money that you pay when you go to the mosque, you have to give a certain amount of your money to the mosque. And I'm telling you, some of the Islamic charities in this country are fucking loaded. I don't see why I would have to pay for, in addition to the police protecting these twats when they march, I don't see why our money should have to pay for anything other than Christians, to be honest, and Christian places of worship. I think the rest of it you should be saving your money, except if there has been an issue. So I'm quite happy if there's been an issue that we protect people in this country. I'm not happy that we are sending 40 million to mosques, which is the largest share of anything we're giving out, so that they can have CCTV when there's absolutely no rationale for this whatsoever. There's none. There's none. Charles says the C of E is a massive landowner and loaded with dough. Good. Good for them. Also happens to be the head of the church is our King of England. I mean, I don't care. I really, really don't care. We know that being Jewish in 2026 is quite precarious. It's difficult. It's not a case of people just not wanting you to ram your faith down anybody's throats. It's actually just your very existence pisses some people off. And we know that those places where Jews are more targeted, there will be a higher level of Muslims there. I just there's something going on. I mean, are they just about to bring this anti-Muslim? Are they just about to do something which means that there's going to be targets, or is there like, what are they planning with this? Who's made this decision? What people were in that room who made the decision that we could spare 40 million pounds to mosques? Seriously, who is deciding that? It's absolutely mad. It's absolutely mad. And if we're going to give them money, right, I think we should then be able to drop in. In fact, maybe we should all start doing that. Drop in and listen to the shit that they preach about this country and about non-Muslims. Maybe it's time we did that. Then maybe you can only have money from the government to protect you if you don't say shit about women, if you don't endorse the stoning of women, if you don't refer women to the Sharia councils so that they can get badly treated by their husbands, if you don't support forced marriage, if you're not sending one of your daughters off to Pakistan to get married over the summer, maybe that. Maybe you take money from us. We have insight into every fucking last thing that you do. Maybe. I just 40 million. 40 million. So anyway, I asked. There are no official published lists of exactly how many mosques or Islamic schools are now protected under this scheme. I mean, how many schools are there where girls are being forced to wear hijabs? How many? How many in this fucking country are there? An extra 10 million was announced in 2025 to expand that protection after recent attacks. What recent attacks? What recent attacks? An independent monitoring group, Tell Mama, which is a load of shit, recorded 30 reported incidents targeting mosques and Islamic centers from June to 2025. I don't believe you. I think you're fucking liars. I don't believe you. I don't believe the reports. I don't believe that they are the sort of thing that we would recognize as actual reports. And some of these things will include graffiti. They represent documented incidents in the past 6 months. What, 30 requires 40 million. Attacks on churches last year. Ready for this? 9,000. 9,000. Actually, that's from 2022 to 2024. Should have read on. But 9,000 in the last few years against churches, including churches completely burning down to the ground. and we give 5 million. All other faiths except Muslim and Jewish. The Jews only have a problem here, really, because of some demented morons on the right, um, some even more demented morons on the left, and Muslims. That's why they have an issue. Did you hear about anti-Semitism like 30 years ago? Aside from maybe in the Labour Party, did you hear about any? I didn't. I mean, maybe I'm just very sheltered. That is, we don't. There's not really a community of Jews where I live. So in churches, there have been significant damage, fires, and incidents against the burglary, damage, theft, arson, etc. Across Europe, we've seen churches being burnt to the ground. I would say that Christians are much more under threat. And I was listening to a woman who it really annoys me, called Osama something. Begum, I think her name is. And she said this, and she was actually right. And she said it's not, well, she was wrong about this. She said it wasn't because of Muslims that people don't like Islam, or it wasn't because of Islam that people don't like Muslims, that, the only reason is. But this bit is true. That we have given up our traditions and our culture. We've let them go. We don't go to church. Even like non-believers used to go to church a long time ago. And the non-believers were a very small portion of society, but we don't do that. We don't ensure our traditions and customs are kept. We don't insist that it's a Christmas fair at school. I was speaking to a lady from Nottingham the other day, and her school has a winter fair. We let them put halal on our menus. Loads of our meat in the shops, including red tractor meat, is halal slaughtered. We just let it go. We're just apathetic. You have to fight for traditions and culture to remain. It doesn't just happen. You have to do it. Like, how many kids do country dancing? How many times do you take your children to a summer fair or a fete, village fete? Like, you have to do it. We can be really upset about Islam, and I think we should be. I think we should be absolutely shitting ourselves, to be honest, about the rise of Islam. Because the rise of Islam is, in this country in particular, is promoted by a group of um, low IQ people who have children with their cousins, which produces a irrational, aggressive, and low IQ eventually, right? The people that you see on the television often are from those particular communities where cousin marriage has been generational, and so it's almost like marrying a sibling, right? It sounds racist because it's true. Sounds racist, sounds terrible. Shouldn't say it, but it is true, so it's fine. You can actually speak the truth even when it's not very nice. The entire religion is based on a man, the justification for a man to marry a 6-year-old and rape a 9-year-old. Stoning women to death. Not believing women. Marrying more than one. Having 4 wives. Like, and now we're supposed to protect that religion? That religions that marched on the streets? Like that, we shouldn't have to protect any religion, let alone one that hates us. Personally, I'd rather see all the money go to the Christian churches. It's absolutely insane. Christian churches are now having to pay VAT on repairs. They've lost that. So when they repair their churches, it's now much more expensive with a declining congregation often. And at the same time, we've got 40 million to give to mosques. I think they want to provoke us all. I think something's happening. Crazy. Crazy. I have never seen so many people. They don't just say happy Ramadan or something like that. They talk about the holy month, time of reflection. Like, fuck off. All of them. It seems to be some sort of memo. It's really odd, but if it is not propaganda pushed by really, really powerful, frightening people, then I don't know what it is. It's really it's really something. It's not an accident. It's not by accident. It's not just happening. It's on purpose. And look, if I wanted the Islamic, if I wanted a caliphate in the United Kingdom, what would I do? Well, I might cause some sort of war, and then I might push propaganda on social media. That's what I might do. I might build super mosques. I might encourage people to pray in the street. I might make absolute morons emboldened. I might insist that we have laws that mean you can't criticize my religion. That's what I would do. So anyway, uh, with money, state money, comes accountability and transparency. So let's have some of that, shall we? Anyway, this is my second time today, but I was so annoyed. Time we ban halal, then ban Islamic schools. I'm happy just to get rid of the whole religion out of this country. I couldn't give a shit whether or not, whether or not, um, it's too much. It's too much. We're gonna have to do something. Anyway, I'm gonna love you and leave you.